All right, some other measures of spread that we need to talk about is called the standard deviation and the variance. And these are extremely important whenever we're talking about statistics, because the standard deviation talks about how far away from the mean that you are. Now, we always use the letter S for standard deviation, and we always use the letter V for variance. Now, normally there is a mathematical formula that would help us to be able to find the standard deviation and the variance, but I'm going to show you how to do it on your calculator, which it takes a few steps, so you may want to pause the video from time to time and write out some directions and some steps so that you'll be able to do this on your own. But I think that we can do it this way, and I think that it'll help us to be able to get more comfortable with our calculators also. All right, so here we have an example that says the following are raw test scores from a history test. Find the mean, the standard deviation, and variance for the data set. So we need the mean, which is, if you'll remember from before, our mean is always denoted X bar. Standard deviation we use an S for, and variance a V. Okay, let me show you how to do this. Let's pull out our calculators, and we'll see that there's a button here called Stat. If you see this button right here that I've got my cursor going around, so I'm going to hit the button called Stat, and then you should see number 1, Edit. I want you to go ahead and hit Enter on that Edit, and you should see some list. Now, you might have something in your list. If you do, I want you to arrow up on top of the L1, and I want you to hit Clear, and then arrow back down again. And now you should see your list should be empty. So again, just to refresh that, if you see something in your list, arrow up on top of the heading, the L1 or L2 or whatever it is that you're looking at, and then hit Clear, and then arrow back down. You won't see it change until you arrow back down again. Now, we only need our L1 cleared for what we're going to be doing. But what I want you to do is I want you to take those data values that you should have on your paper, and I want you to enter them in one at a time. So for instance, I'm going to enter in 86, enter, and it pops me down to the next slot. And now 85 and enter, 87, enter, 96, enter, 55, enter, 90, enter, and 94, enter. So once we have all 7 of those values entered into our calculator, now we're going to quit out of there. We're going to hit second and then mode, which is right next to it, to quit, go back to our home screen, and now we're going to hit stat. And if we arrow over, then we should activate that calc menu. And the very first option is one variable statistics, one var stats. So we're going to choose that by hitting enter. And now it's going to ask us, which list is it in? Well, we put ours in L1. The frequency list you can leave out. And now we're going to arrow down to calculate and hit enter, and it will give us a bunch of different statistics on this. So I want you to look at my screen here. I'll look over here at the bigger screen, and we'll see exactly what we're looking for. Our X bar, remember, that's our mean. So this is 84.7 would be our mean. And then it has some other things in here. So the sum of the x's, the sum of the x squareds. This SX, that is our standard deviation. So our standard deviation here is 13.73, something like that. But I also want you to look at what else that they have here. They say our minimum X is 55. That's that lower extreme. And then they say Q1, that's that lower quartile, is 85. The median is 87. The Q3 is 94 and maximum X is 96. So this would help us to be able to draw in a box and whisker plot if we wanted to. Okay, let's go back to our paper here, and remember our X bar was 84.7. Our standard deviation was 13.73. Now the way we find the variance is the square of the standard deviation. So we're going to take our standard deviation of 13.73 and we're going to square that to get 188.5.